start kicking things off, let's start with you, George. Can you just introduce yourself, your company model, and your mission, and a little bit more about your product services?
Sure. So my name is George Shchegolev. I'm a co-founder of Route4Me, and I oversee operations at Route4Me. I've been with the company from day one, and we've been in business for a little over 10 years. We're a mobile-first company, so we launched as a mobile application on the Apple App Store in 2009, which is a little over a year after Steve Jobs announced App Store. We're in a productivity app. What our platform does, so we are last mile logistics, cloud-based SaaS platform. Our mission is decarbonization and empowering people in the field to be more efficient and effective. Our platform makes complex simple. We optimize routes, we plan them, we dispatch them, and then we afterwards analyze them for compliance. It's not just about creating a plan, it's also important to make sure that you measure what the person did in the field, and then afterwards, if you can measure it, you can improve it. So we empower our customers to do that. The application itself started in 2009, as I said. We made an app that was primarily targeting real estate people that just wanted to go house hunting, and potentially some people in the field that wanted to, they had to visit 10 locations or less. The app launched in the first week. I got 50,000 downloads. The web kind of went viral. It was free at first, and we started to listen to our customers. Then businesses started to come to us and say, look, we have some people in our company that are using it, but they're so much more efficient than other people. How do we make everyone in the organization be more efficient? So we said, well, we have to do something on our end to make sure we can bill you properly, and then we can make them more efficient. So we started developing our platform, and that's where we expanded. We now have a web platform. We have both our mobile applications that all work together beautifully. We have a desktop client tool for enterprise customers as well. Some of our customers, I'm sure you heard of 1-800-Flowers. So if you got flowers delivered, that was powered by our platform. We also have Garda, SpaceX, and some other companies in the space. We have a beautiful page on our website called Users. There's a lot of prominent players there. And the penetration in the organization varies from some of those, but we're growing very rapidly. And we have 23,000 customers.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're growing very rapidly.
Cool. Well, that's pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Anthony? Can you talk about the company that you started, the growth, and what you guys do in your services?
Yeah, totally. So I founded Palo in 2010, coming up on our 10th year in January. We're a performance marketing agency. So a really simple way to look at it is we reduce as much risk as possible when it comes to customer acquisition online. And we do that in various ways, whether it be through affiliate partners, building brands that we own online and generate leads for our clients, or just innovating different ways to connect with the customer. So some of the brands that we work with are bigger brands like Allstate, Comcast, Home Depot, and then we also work with smaller clients, such as an attorney in Dorchester, or an attorney in Dallas, Texas, or a carpenter in Michigan. And we develop different ways to identify where their target customer is, what they're exactly looking for, and then how do we acquire that customer and do it in a performance way. So rather than just spend their money, we tell them, listen, we're going to find your customer, we're going to acquire that customer for you, and then you're going to pay us a premium for that. And you have zero risk because we're taking pretty much the entire funnel out of the equation, and we're going to deliver you what comes out of the bottom of that funnel. So I started it in 2010 with that focus on the performance side of things, focus on what our customer wants, and figure out the different ways to achieve that. And we have a strong focus on inbound phone calls because a lot of industries require a phone call rather than a form fill online or a shopping cart checkout. And so since then, we've really developed strategies to drive inbound phone calls and acquire customers in different ways, where we're really regarded as a leader in the inbound phone call side. And yeah, it's been a fun ride since, and happy to talk about Tipalti and how it's helped us.
Cool. Before we jump into that, can each of you talk a little bit about your business models, how you actually make profit on the back end, and drive revenue? I'll start with you, Anthony.
Okay, cool. I would say ours is a little. It's not too complex. It's pretty simple. It's a very marginal-based business. On our affiliate division or our affiliate marketplace, we work with affiliate marketers. Plain and simple. It's a client comes to us and says, we need to acquire a customer at X dollars. We have an exclusive base of affiliates or marketers that we work with that have the knowledge and the skills and the expertise to go out and acquire those customers. And that's literally what they do. They buy media in an efficient way to produce those customers for us, and then we take a margin in between to manage the program, run different quality assurance checks, run different filtration processes, any other buzzword you can think of in marketing, we do that too, and then we deliver that customer to the client at the agreed upon price. And then when it comes to our in-house side, where we build our brands and we do the digital marketing, it's as simple as where are we acquiring the most amount of traffic online to deliver that customer in a profitable manner. Oftentimes we aren't profitable. So our business model is to lose money to invest in data that can help us become more profitable in the future or grow our brand in an effort to generate more leads for our clients. So it's very marginal. If we're getting paid X, we're giving out Y and we're taking the in-between for our affiliate side for managing that, or we're able to utilize the brands we build and monetize the users on the site, deliver them a service that they're looking for, and deliver that to our client.
Okay. How about you, George?
So-
What's the business model work at
So
Rapid for Me?
we're a SaaS platform. We're subscription based. So our customers pay a monthly subscription for the access to the platform. And the price varies depending on the size of the organization and complexity that the customer is looking to solve.
Okay. Much more straightforward.
Yep.
I'm a marketer, so I can relate to everything Anthony just said by background. George, can you talk about how accounts payable and finance fits into the mission of Rapid for Me?
Sure. So the way we look at finance structure in the organization is that it's supposed to power the rest of the organization for us to do what we want to be doing as an organization. Now, let's take a look at how since we're a mobile-first company, we believe in self-service platform, and we believe in extremely lean operational footprint. So everything has to kind of work together. So when we look at automation of AP process or how is it going to play out, we need to make sure that the process is extremely autonomous. There's less hands in a cookie jar, essentially, that can mess things up. And security is an important variable as well. And of course, the more autonomous it is, that it permits us to scale. We're growing rapidly, so when what we're building to scale is one problem. Now we're building while scaling, and hopefully eventually we're going to get to a level of where we're building at scale. And our organization is moving a little bit slower, but in a very high velocity.
Great. Anthony, can you just talk about the role of finance and accounting, accounts payable, in your business model and how it fits into that overall mission and goal?
Yeah, totally. So I'm going to focus in on our affiliate division for this example because that's really where 99% of our AP comes into play. So affiliates work with us because they want to monetize the traffic that they can generate online. They want to make a profit. If they can buy media online better than the next, they want to monetize that. But in order to get access to different programs and different agencies, in order to get access to, let's just say, those profits that they can generate, they need to get access to those programs. And so we build our programs where affiliates can monetize their traffic and actually earn some really good revenues. But part of that process is making sure they work with an agency or a company that they trust and really knows how important the financial side of the business is in that industry. So accounts payable is crucial to that because we're able to, with Paluzzi, we're able to automate pretty much the entire accounts payable process, tax collection forms, different aspects of overall accounts payable, and it builds trust with our affiliates. So our mission is to be a leader in the digital marketing space when it comes to working with affiliates. In order to be that leader, you need to instill trust. You need to have the social proofing behind that so they can then refer business, and having something streamlined like accounts payable helps us do that because it instills trust with our partners.
Great, great. Can you guys each touch on, I think you've started touching on them a little bit, but your perspective of automation as a part of your business, and of course finance and accounts payable in that context?
Totally.
We'll start with Anthony.
So, so you're asking just how automation helps?
Yeah, as you run the entire business and you look at where you put your resources and how you want to grow, and then where you choose not to put resources and use automation instead, how do you look at that and assess that?
Marketing is so much automated. Everything is automated in marketing. Everything. So in our business, we have to automate as much as possible, or we're just going to fall behind our competition when it comes to deciding where a potential customer that we've acquired goes. Should it go to company X, company Y, or even just how to bid within a certain ad network or something along those lines. A lot of the manual processes, if you want to call it that, comes down to strategy and business development. So when it comes to automation, it's crucial. It's crucial in our business. Everything digital is automated, so we need to stay up with that.
And that kind of extends into finance as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I can go deeper into that if you like.
We can come back to it.
Okay.
I suppose.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, we'll talk about processes and financial ops details shortly, actually. And George, on your side, that automation philosophy, and as it relates to hiring and where you put headcount, how do you think of that formula?
So look, as I said, we are a self-service platform. We believe on lean operational footprint. When we're a small organization, when we had one person in sales, one person in support, it didn't have a lot of complexity. As you start introducing more and more people, there's approval processes. There is, you need to figure out how's the lead comes in. What is the lead distribution? Do you want a 50-50 split? Do you want it to be by industry? There's 100 different questions starts coming into play. Same thing with the ticketing system and with everything. As you start to introduce more people in the organization, the more complex it gets. Same thing happens with finance. As we started to grow, we're building to scale. At that time, we started to recognize that as we're going to get there, we're going to have a problem because we're not going to be able to operate without someone dedicated sitting there processing these invoices at all times, probably making mistakes because humans make mistakes. But with that, I'll give you an example. At first, we had Bank of America, we had Bill.com. And eventually we got to Bill.com. So in that process, Bill.com manages some vendors. Some vendors get paid via ACH. Some vendors are overseas. We're a global company. We're 100% remote. So we have people working for us all over the world and 40 plus countries at this point. So sometimes, you have a vendor somewhere overseas and you need to pay them. And Bill.com would not do it. Sometimes they want to get paid, did not do it at that time. I know they do it now, but they couldn't do it in a specific currency that vendor wants. Sometimes they want to get paid in USD, they couldn't. So right now, at that moment, we had to use Bill.com for some of our vendors, check for some other vendors. Then we had to use Bank of America to wire money for the third vendors. Then you have to manage 3 different systems.
Sounds terrible.
And as I'm like, this was not, we couldn't grow with that. And more importantly, at that point, that was not a big problem. But I started to recognize that very quickly as we're growing. Right now, we're almost at 90 plus people. So it started to slow us down. I knew it was going to slow us down. And more importantly, I would have to hire somebody, pay them a salary to manage that. So Tipalti was essential. How it fit into the space, it just eliminated all of that operational footprint. It made things as lean as we like it and removed all the complexity and all the issues that we had before.
Let's drill into the financial operation a little bit more deeply now. I know both you guys are kind of executives, so don't expect you to talk through all the nuts and bolts, but to the extent where you can shed some light on what your processes look like in the past. George, you already started down that road, and then kind of what it looks like now from end to end. Can you each talk about it a little bit? You have some different workflows you're using in accounts payable, is my understanding. But why don't we start with George, since you
Sure.
kind of started to talk about that, and then we'll go to Anthony.
Cool.
So look, when we started as a company, we had a checkbook, which we don't have anymore. And we had access to account. There was no different user permissions that you can authenticate into those accounts. So you had to use one username between multiple people. There's too many hands in a cookie jar. You don't know who does what. There's no transparent ability to understand who did what, why it was done. You know, somebody you give too many people access without ability to log it, that's an issue. It's a security issue. So then we started to transition from that to Bill.com. We got into that, and that was a disaster. Because, you know, was that person paid? How was they paid? You know, we had to manage a third system that managed how those people were getting paid. So once we eliminated all of that with Tipalti, the beauty of all of this is that now we have bill approval process within the platform. So the head of our CTL logs in, and he looks at all the invoices by the developers. And he says, that's good, that's good, that's good. That's not good, send back to AP. And then after that, writes it down like, you know, this is the wrong period. After that, the person resubmits the invoice, readjusts it, goes back. After that, the invoice gets approved. It comes to the next level of approval, and very often it's me. And I just validate to make sure it falls within the budgets and everything. I approve that. And after that, it just goes into a payment flow where you just wire the money to Tipalti, and you just click pay, and that's it. But the beauty is Tipalti also offers ability to upload a spreadsheet with the vendor ID and the amount you want to pay them. So if you don't want your vendor to submit the invoice, you know how much you want to pay them, you don't have to. So you can just automate that completely. And another huge variable, which I love about Tipalti, is that we have vendors that constantly make mistakes in bank account information. Or they change bank accounts. The email is like, can you change my bank account every month? Like, do people open bank accounts every month? Apparently they do. So we're dealing with it. Sometimes you had to deal with it. Now with Tipalti, you send the invitation to portal. The vendor logs in, authenticates, enters all the information. If the US based, they do EIN validation. Tipalti does EIN validation, Social Security validation. After that, they put the banking information, payment method, and if they want to change it, they just log back in and change it. So we don't have to worry about it. And they select the currency they want to pay it in. We don't have to, it's just, that part of the equation is completely removed from our world.
Imagine also kind of with what you were dealing with before with the three different kind of banking institutions, payment reconciliation and financial close a little easier these days?
Well, our bookkeeping team and accounting team is much happier that they don't have to go between multiple systems and multiple things. Everything is automated with the APIs, so it's quite beautiful.
How about you, Anthony? What did the world look like before the challenge you were starting to run into where you kind of recognize I need to do something else? And then how does it look today in terms of your AP process?
Totally. It was very similar to George's. By the way, you're the first person in person that I've heard say the same shit that I've said, so it's awesome. I love it. It's very similar. I mean, almost identical, actually, where we had Bill.com, Bank of America. I mean, I wouldn't send anybody checks because I'm not sending you a check. But yeah, we would do Bank of America ACH wire, or we would do Bill.com. We couldn't send wires internationally, and we couldn't, well, actually, let me back up a bit. With our marketplace, our success is measured on how many leads we can produce to our clients. How many leads we can produce is based upon how much marketing we can do. In order to do more and more marketing at scale, we need to work with more and more partners, more affiliates. So, essentially, our accounts payable will scale with the success of our company, because the more exposure we get as a marketplace, the more affiliates will want to work with us, and that whole operation and that system scales with it. Unfortunately, at the time, I was that entire team. I wasn't a cool person to be around on accounts payable day. So I would literally just ask that affiliate, let's just call them the affiliate, the vendor, send me your banking information. Literally, they would type it to me. Send me your W-9. Oh, you don't have a W-9? Here's the link to the irs.gov website. Go fill it out, send it to me. And that's if everything went well. And then I would have to enter that in. I'd have to essentially I'm getting like PTSD thinking about it. I'd have to enter that in, make sure it worked. If it didn't work, go back to the affiliate, so on and so forth. Make sure we keep their W-9 on file. Everything was just very, very, very manual. And then on top of that, like Kevin O'Leary says on Shark Tank, if I get hit by a bus, there's no more accounts payable. It's just, okay, hopefully everyone gets paid. So I had to figure out a way to automate it. And so now with, and by the way, that took me a solid 10 to 12 hours per month. That took away from strategy because we were doing well. We had more affiliates coming to want to work with us, which led to more minutia on my plate. So with Tipalti, I was able to literally eliminate 90% of the manual work that I had before because now when our affiliates log into our tracking platform, they're able to see their revenue numbers, pretty much all the metrics that go into their marketing campaign and what we essentially owe them. And then with that, we can simply have our system say, this is the affiliate ID, vendor ID, this is the correct person. Go tell Tipalti the right amount when it comes time to pay them. And that's great because we don't have to figure out one by one in a CSV file who is owed what. Is this the correct amount? Should I double check that we have everything? Tipalti does that for us. And then on top of that, we don't touch W-9s. We don't touch banking information. The affiliates do that. Affiliate wants to know where their money is. One of my favorite things to say is go log into Tipalti because you can see everything there, the status of where it is. So I would say from 12 hours monthly, also having an additional bookkeeper, literally an additional person that I had to pay a salary. We're down to about 1 hour a month, if that, at the very most. And I now have that solo bookkeeper that was with me before Tipalti. So I've been able to reduce an incredible amount of time that I can now focus on strategy and then an additional salary. So Tipalti laid some people off. Yeah.
Lean operational
Yeah,
footprint.
lean. All right, we'll use the word lean. Okay.
The one interesting thing about both you guys, and it's not a typical conversation you'll probably have in your typical finance sessions, but the interesting thing, commonality, even though your businesses are very different from an agency versus a kind of software company, is you both talk a lot about supplier relationships and why that's important to your business models, as well as how it ties into accounts payable. Can you just shed some more light on your perspective on the supplier relationship and why attracting and retaining partners is important to the business and how the payables workflow impacts that relationship? Why don't we start with you, George?
Sure.
Then go to Anthony.
So we have two types of customers. External customer that we sell to, and the internal customer, the people that work for us, the vendors. We want to make sure that we're extremely customer-centric company. We want to make sure that everyone is happy, and they provide it with transparent, easy to comprehend way of how they're paying us for the external customer and how they're getting paid but for the internal customer. Paying the experience was never a problem for us through the marketplaces and experience that we had before. But for the internal customer, sometimes just like with Anthony, people come is like, when am I gonna get paid? What is going on with my invoice? What's going on with that? Now, it's a very transparent way. It's just please log into Tipalti portal and take a look at it. You'll see your invoice, you see the status of the invoice, you're gonna see the due date for the invoice. You're gonna be able to see the entire cycle. So for us, it is imperative to provide that experience to everyone who we're paying the money to make sure that they understand where they're getting the money, when. People want to get paid on time. It's that simple. So that's our philosophy, and that's what we believe in, the importance of the experience that Tipalti provides.
Thanks. How about you, Anthony?
Yeah, that's it's huge. In my industry, it's huge because unfortunately in the affiliate space, there's a lot of fraudulent individuals that just don't pay their bills. So affiliates have to worry, not just are these programs good programs, are they competitive, but am I going to get paid? And on top of that, am I going to get paid on time because I'm buying ads, I'm buying media online, I have cash flow that I need to worry about. I need to know and predict when I'm going to get paid. So with us, it really helps our brand and the proof of that we're a good company to work with, because it shows that we take the time to invest in the accounts payable process. We give them, like George said, the transparency of where is my payment, when am I going to get paid, can I control the payment flow, And then they see that as something where it's, oh, these guys take it serious. They take money serious. It's not just send me your banking information and then I'll make sure that line item shows up in your bank. It's you control the banking process. Just do what you do best. And affiliates and our partners, not just affiliates, but brands we work with, love that because they see that it's in their control. They give us the transparency to know where our money is, and it gives us the comfort to scale. So it's crucial.
Cool. Thank you. Can you, actually, we've kind of hit on this with the process. I'm going to skip over that. When we jump to benefits, and so I'll talk, when we start with you, Anthony, but let's talk to the benefits you've seen today in your business because of the modernization effort, as well as, as you foresee kind of growing 2-3 years down the road and more, how you think those benefits will show to the business of using.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of benefits right now. Time is huge. If I can't focus on the strategy of where we're at, hiring the right team members, and just making sure that our ship is going in the right direction, we're not going to be successful. So by reducing the amount of time spent in accounts payable, that was big enough by itself. But second to that is really the scale opportunity, where the better we do, the more dense or active our accounts payable becomes. And I look at things as, if I'm going to build a system or an operation, when is this going to cap out? And with Topology and the accounts payable systems, it's never going to cap out. So, I mean, if it does, that means we're doing great. But it's really, does this system set us up in the future for 10x growth? And it does. And then on top of that, there's a cost savings too, which was huge. Which even if I was paying the same amount, I'd still be happy to pay it. But an extreme cost savings with sending wires that were $30 to $40 to $50 each, return payments, spending money on another individual to help with this. So it went from time to scale to savings, and they were crucial. It was huge.
Thank you.
And I get to come and talk to you guys. Yeah, it's a benefit.
How about you, George?
My experience is similar to Anthony's. Well, look, any organization goes through stages of growth. Building to scale, you're preparing for the growth. Building while scaling, you're growing. And building at scale. So when we invested into Topology, we were building to scale. We're anticipating that this platform will be with us for a long period of time because it did remove a lot of complexities from day-to-day operation and AP processing. Now, once we, just like Anthony said, if we're growing rapidly and we may find some additional issues that we have with the platform. But at that time, that's a separate conversation to have. At this moment, I don't anticipate it because I truly believe that the amount of automation we have is phenomenal. Now, what does that do to my business in the long term? I'll tell you what it does. It allows me to focus on other aspects of the business to make them self-service and operationally lean. So that's what I'm doing with my free time.
Before we wrap up the panel, any just last advice to the audience as they're considering modernizing the payables operation, when to do it, and whether to do it, how you think through those decisions?
Do you want me to take this one?
Sure, take it
All
first.
right, I'll leave. I'm not going to use the word lean. That's yours today. I would say, table in the front, that just really AP doesn't need to be manual at all. 90 to 95% of it can be fully automated, and it's actually safer too because you don't have to worry about overspending, fraud, taxes in terms of tax documentation, things like that. So when it comes to accounts payable in general, really look at the ways to automate it because there's really no reason to take a manual approach. I mean, I know that's just kind of a broad statement, but it's just so obvious to us now that we've started it. And it's been extremely helpful and beneficial to our business. So automate as much as possible, really. That's how I look at it.
I think it's a similar thing to Anthony. I'm going to use the term lean.
Yeah,
I'm just
use
kidding. The thing is, it comes to ability to take that piece out of the equation and focus on different things
Yeah.
and not worry about AP process. At this moment, if there was no multi-party, we evaluated every platform. We talked to Chase, we talked to Bank of America, we talked to Wells
yeah.
Fargo, we talked to everyone. And it required, there's no proper permissions, there's no ability to give the right access to the right person to make sure that they don't see all the little details of every vendor or things like that. So just that level of transparency that provides our vendor security is imperative. Now, when would I do it? How do we make that decision? I think that if you have a pain and you hear, I think it's time for you to upgrade.
Yeah, it's a good point. If you have
Yeah.
a pain, you go to the doctor. If you
Exactly.
have a pain,
That's exactly what I say.
yeah, go get it checked on. Yeah, that's great.
Well, thanks for the panelists. I'll have you stay up here. I'll go through a few slides. Dave, who runs our solution consulting group, is going to come up and show a live demo of the product. Hold your questions, and then we'll have some time for questions before we jump into lunch.